down, I think most of the bills on today's agenda we either have some version of it or you're familiar with them. And most of the ones are double referred that we're taking up today. One's to technology and the others are to appropriations. So before I do that one, I'd like to, and I am going to skip around. I'd like to call up, let's see. 1063. And I would ask for a motion to table subject to call. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay. And I will say the intent is that will be on the agenda on Tuesday. And we will be meeting on Tuesday at our regular meeting. Okay, calling up HB 624 criminal investigators. That's similar to our bill 75,000 raising criminal investigators. And when I say our bill, the ones that we pass. So any questions on that? Senator Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But did we take up similar legislation on last year?
On investigators?
Yes, sir.
Last year? I don't think so.
We did. Okay, or pay increases for them?
Not last year. I think about 3-4 years ago, maybe so.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any other questions? Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That one carries. Okay, House Bill 848. What you have before you is the opioid settlement fund. We have for consideration is a strike all with the Senate version of that. There are some differences between the two bills and would open it up to any questions on that. Have a motion? Motion is title sufficient, do pass, strike all. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, we will go down to, I'm going to address the double refer bills first. So House Bill 1366, judicial office allowance. We passed a version last year. The House bill here, if you look at the underlying language, what they are talking about is, or asking and requiring that there be out-of-state travel for the judges to be used in particular situations. Also, lines 29 to 42 is talking about a subsidy where there's not office space. And then if you look over, let's see, you can look over at lines 111 to 116, where it talks about needs of their offices and the Supreme Court to set out certain rules and regulations. Again, this is double referred. So with that, I'd open it up to any questions. Okay. Question, Senator Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On line 32, do you know where that $7,000 figure came from?
I do not.
Okay.
Senator Thompson, you had a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I've been contacted by one of my circuit judges about this in support of the bill. I just don't know. Right now is the issue that the judges have to go through AOC for for these expenditures. Did they have to be approved by AOC before they could be allowed to go to out of state CLEs or incur office expenses? Is that what the issue is?
AOC is a reimbursement model, and I've heard that, you know, AOC has, I guess they have not full discretion, but they have limits on what they're doing. And so the House has come forward with this to provide a little more discretion to the judges.
And is this county money or is this state money that would be used for these expenses?
This code section, which is one that we passed, I think that was last year. No, yeah, last year where we raised that, it would be state money.
Okay. So it's just giving the judges a little more discretion.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As it relates to the part of the bill dealing with the primary office space outside of the courthouse or that's provided by the county, do we know how many judges are affected by that first?
Do not. And I haven't been provided that information if there is.
Do we know, I'm a little concerned about the terminology suitable office space. Who would make that determination as to whether or not it is suitable?
Okay, council's telling me that the language there was actually in another part of the code, was already in the statute. It was a deleted subsection 7. I'm not sure why they didn't have the word suitable. Okay, yeah. As he said, it didn't have the word suitable in it, but it had been
Okay.
in there.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting to, is the part that says suitable. If they're provided office space within the county, could they just determine, or could someone determine that they didn't like the space well enough and they get $7,000 extra to go get their own space somewhere?
Sounds like it. Yes.
Is it, yeah,
It
it reads
gives a-
further that
it
it's
gives
left
a
to
veto power, so to
it left-
speak.
Well, it looks like it's left to the discretion of the judge or chancellor. I just wondered how many, I'm not aware of any judges that I've encountered over the years that don't have space in the courthouse or an
Um,
auxiliary building. And that may be, I just may not be that I've been to the places where that happens, but seems unusual. And I certainly think that if they don't have space provided, they ought to have some office allowance, but I wonder how many judges are affected by this.
I don't have a specific number. I think there are more out there. I know I can attest to the fact that when we were having hearings, I guess it was 2 summers ago, that one of the judges sat in here and said they didn't have space. They'd been asking for 10 years or something. So, and it was here in central Mississippi. So I do think it exists, but I don't have the specific numbers. Senator Barrett?
Well, to Senator Hobson's question, my chancellor has an office in, let's just use Lincoln County, for example. The chancellor has an office, but the circuit judge does not. So I know it does exist. I just don't know, to your question, how often it does exist.
And I will point out to the committee that there is a reverse repealer in the bill. Senator Hobson, you still had the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm contemplating, but please proceed.
I see
You're in
your
charge.
brain working over there. Any other questions? The motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, that passes. Go to House Bill 1380. That is the cybersecurity bill. What you have before you is the Senate strike all or the House bill. I've talked to Senator Williams. There are differences between the two. I've asked for some and I guess a report on the differences between the two. I spoke with Senator Williams, who authored the Senate bill. He's fine with the strike all and is going to work on that with us. So that's where we are. Open it up to questions. Any questions? Senator Boyd?
No.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass, strike all. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? We will go to, let's see, House Bill 1459. This is, you look over it, lines 29 to 31 and on down 38 to 43. This is dealing with the CCID courts. And what this language is doing is really just codifying what is going on now with the CCID judges. And they have been appointed by the Chief Justice, full-time and part-time, and that lays out their salary in there. I would ask, if you look at line 47, what that language that was taken out was the repealer language. I would ask for a motion to actually place that language back because we still have some, I think that's appropriate in the situation that we're dealing with the CCID. So do I have a motion on that? Okay, motion is to replace the repealer language, which repeals that section on July 1st, 2027.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Before we go vote on that,
On the repealer, what language, what was the date on that repealer?
July 1st, 2027.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's fine.
So that's what would be replaced to place that back in, which forces us to look at that.
And one other
Yeah.
question, Mr. Chairman, that goes for the entire, I'm looking at, you said on line 47, I want to make sure we're looking at these, I'm hoping these judges do such a good job, they work themselves out of a job. So I certainly think this needs to be looked at after a couple of years. But is that the place for the repealer for all the sections at the end of subsection 4? Does that cover everything, council?
It says this section shall stand repealed, so it'll be the whole section.
That's okay, that's,
And my recollection is when we did the original CCID bill, we placed that in there for that reason that you're talking about.
I just want to make sure the repealer does require that at the end, by 2027, we're going to take another look at this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other, so we're on that amendment. So all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, that carries. We're on the bill as amended. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, do I have a motion? Motion is title sufficient, do pass as amended. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, that carries. Go to House Bill 1509. That is district attorneys. And that's the same similar bill, companion bill to the Senate bill. I will tell the committee that assuming there are a House and a Senate bill, I will be getting with the chairman in the House. And obviously we don't need two bills of the same, so we'll be working on that to address that. But this ties the district attorney's pay raise. If you look there, $1,000 less than the salary for circuit and chancery judges. And you'll notice in section 2, they have a repealer of June 30th. Oh, yes, that's a reverse repealer. So it has a reverse repealer. Any questions? Have a motion? Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? That carries. Thank you. Going to go up to House Bill 1197. So as you can see there, this is called the Safe Solicitation Act. As was explained to me, as I understand it, the House had a select subcommittee on housing or homelessness. And that's what came out of, this is one of the bills that came out of that. And if you look through what it does is, if you look at section 3, it shall be unlawful for any person to solicit in any municipality, county, or political subdivision without a solicitation permit issued by the municipality, county, or political subdivision in which the solicitation will occur. So if you're soliciting, you have to get a permit via the city. I will tell you that I've had people, since this bill came over, reach out to me, particularly from the Jackson area, and say, this is really, this is needed. These bills were also, I guess, have come in the wake of I forget the name of the decision, the Supreme Court decision on Grants Pass decision on homelessness and what is acceptable and is not. So much of the bill is is addressing code sections, but in short, it's obtaining a solicitation permit before anybody can actually solicit in these areas. So with that, I'll open it up to discussion. Yeah, Senator Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if I'm reading this correct, Mr. Chairman, when we have incidents of children, cheerleaders, baseball teams, football teams, what have you, or at intersections, and they're asking for donations, would they have to apply for a permit?
I will refer you to the definition, which is lines 20 to 21. When requesting money or anything of value as a donation or contribution while standing, sitting, or positioned in any manner on any road, street, highway, median, traffic island, or highway intersection.
So this is anyone, correct? Okay, even those of us who are in in office, if we're campaigning in a particular place, so that would also apply to all candidates as well, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that, because I think there's an exchange. If you notice, it says, or any other thing of value in exchange. And so solicitation is different from, I would argue, campaigning.
Okay, my other question would be.
Unless you consider your vote, but nobody's.
But also, what about those individuals who might be standing at the curbside or the roadside that may be offering their services, pizza for sale or taxes or whatever it is that they may be soliciting individuals for as well? Would they need to apply for a permit? Because oftentimes they're not on the property or standing there at the property of the businesses that they're soliciting for. They may be right in the edge of the highway or the adjacent piece of property, and they're soliciting, and that's for money. They would need a permit, correct?
As I understand it, and if you look at line 28, it defines solicitation permit that provided by a municipality, county, political subdivision as proof that person's authorized to solicit. So in general terms, would say if you want to solicit, meaning sell things, you have to get the permit.
Okay, so Girl Scouts again, who may be selling Girl Scout cookies, would they have to have a permit?
I would say yes. I would say yes. I will note for the committee, if you look, there are numerous co-sponsors, both Republican and Democrat, for what that's worth. A question for Senator McCon.
Mr. Chairman, reading through this, it looks like this is going to be carefully defined to just road, street, highway, median,
That's right.
traffic island, and highway intersection
right.
only, correct? In the public right of way.
Right, public.
And the other question I have, we don't like, I guess, handing down unfunded mandates. In this situation, we do have where a municipality can choose not to participate. Is that correct?
Yep.
By a vote of their board. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you.
Senator England.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question with regard to, I know this is limiting this to, by the definition, and I think Senator McCon also just pointed this out, that it's a road, street, highway, median, traffic island. My concern with that definition is with regard to thinking of like a Salvation Army bell ringer at the front of a local supermarket, but that supermarket, the city or the county may actually operate a road that goes off in front of that, or a frontage road or something along those lines, and we're not, I don't know whether they would be considered to be situated on the road, or when they're actually in front of the business, they may actually be close to a road that is operating as a city or a municipal road. I just think maybe that definition needs some work. Do you think we could get a reverse repealer in this to do? Because I think it's a good bill, and I think the intent of the bill is good, but I'm worried that we may be limiting some things that we're not intending to here.
Yeah, I would actually say this, kind of judging from the committee. And I've spoken, Representative Shonda Yates who was, I guess, the lead author on this, spoke to me. What I would actually probably like to do is table this subject to call and invite her to, she offered to come. I said, I didn't think we would need that today, but we know how that goes. So, and have her come, and I think she's very knowledgeable about it. She was on the task force, and that way those questions, Senator England, could be answered.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I would agree. I wasn't thinking of us meeting again on Tuesday, but I do think that would be good, because it really, I think just some tightening up language may even be better than that. We could probably send this over.
And when I did speak with her, so, you know, I had some of those questions because I said, you know, we hadn't seen it and all that. And it doesn't surprise me with that. So she's willing to come and talk about that.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I do have a motion then at the proper time.
Okay. Before we do that, I think Senator Boyd had a question.
Since we're going to move, that's what I was going to make that suggestion with that, because I think this is the first glance, we're all reading it for the first time.
Yes.
But if you look at this is just really a safety issue, because I know that I have had solicitors jump out that I was concerned for public safety. And I think this is really at its heart a public safety bill. I'm not sure our bell ringers should be next to those highways and safety. So I really do think, and I mean, this has happened on a couple occasions here in Jackson. So I do think that maybe we need to take a step back and look at public safety issues when that happens. Because if you've had it happen to you, you're worried you're going to hit somebody. And that's certainly not what any of us want to do. And so I do think that I would like to hear from her about that.
You're saying to keep people out of the street so they don't get hit when they're
Yes.
soliciting, which I agree with. When was speaking with her, that's kind of the intent, but I understand the reading that's in there.
And this is also all of our first glance at reading this. So I think I would concur in the motion at the proper time. So.
All right, with that, any other questions? Senator England, your motion?
Yep. Motion is table subject to call the chair.
Okay, that's the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that carries. I will reach out to certainly Representative Yates and ask her to come on that. Going to House Bill 1451. This is from Chairman Hood's bill, and I spoke with him briefly on this. He's trying to address, and you can see the language there, or any other youth court matter acted upon by the court. It's addressing there's some that they have to attend multiple, I guess, court settings. And he's deleted the language that says no clerk shall be allowed compensation for attendance in youth court, which I would say actually needs to happen, that they get compensated considering everything we've been working on in youth court. So any questions, or I'll open it up to questions. Oh, Senator Thompson,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What's the deletion on line 19?
which line?
19?
Yeah, that's what, where it says what it says, current law, no clerk shall be allowed compensation for attendance in youth court. And mind you, there's depending on where you are, you can be a chancery clerk and you have to, which also serves as youth court, or a county court and you're in the youth court and they're not getting paid for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Give me an example of what any other youth court matter would be that's not originated by a petition.
Yeah. Shelter hearing, that's a good example.
Thank you.
There's others too. Disposition hearing, something like that. Oh. Yeah, sorry. Any questions? Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, thank you. And then I think the last one, House Bill number 1544, what you had, that is the judicial redistricting that we all have come to love and admire and have dreams about as we sleep. And so it's the strike all, putting the Senate bill that passed into the House bill. I will tell you that the House, I guess that was yesterday, did a strike all, placing their bill into the Senate bill. So at this rate, we're headed to conference, as has been the case. Conversations are ongoing, but that's what this does. And I represent, there are no changes to the strike all from what we passed. My understanding is that with Ethan having looked over, there's no changes from what they passed when they did the strike all on their bill. So with any questions, I'll open that up. No? Motion is title sufficient, do pass, strike all. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay. Have another motion? Rise and report. Thank you. We will meet on Tuesday.
I'm good, so I'm good with
Thank you.
there on second. They have,